U.S. Navy has finally acknowledged that videos appearing to show UFOs flying through the air are real.
Tonight, on The Proof is Out There, in a bid to broaden our knowledge and expand our understanding of the cosmos, scientists are unrelenting in their search for answers to age-long questions. In their efforts, they have sent different machines and satellites to outer space to get a better visual of the things happening in our immediate atmosphere. However, one of such satellites recently shut down after stumbling into what could be extraterrestrial life. Join us as we uncover why NASA shut down the live feed after something terrifying appeared at the space station. NASA's ISS shuts down tonight on The Proof is Out There. NASA's ISS shuts down. NASA has found itself amid hostility from space enthusiasts and ethologists, and it is currently explaining the space video controversy that has some UFO believers up in arms. The International Space Station, which has been circling Earth for years, is used to send pictures and videos of its findings to Earth. It has become so popular that newer generations can't imagine a world of science without the ISS. However, a bizarre situation that played out over the weekend on the International Space Station live feed left some conspiracy theorists and science hopefuls wondering what they'd just seen. The NASA feed that normally shows a view of Earth from the ISS astronaut's perspective seemed to have captured something slightly different from the usual view. In the distance, a faint light plummeted toward the Earth for a few seconds, but the object suddenly stopped falling and hovered in place. But even more suddenly, the video feed was cut. Some conspiracy theorists quickly concluded that NASA was trying to hide something. Some even said that NASA was trying to prevent its dirty laundry from being aired. Of course, conspiracy theorists are at the helm of this school of thought. Some people speculate that the object may be the now vacant Chinese space station Tiangong-1, which had been in space for a while before tumbling back towards Earth. But some people have a scarier theory. It could be a meteor. What added mystery to the issue and made it even more interesting was that NASA cut off visuals when the object was about to enter Earth's outer atmosphere. Think a meteor is the scariest possibility? Brace yourself. We are about to reveal a revelation that will send chills down your spine. NASA's ISS recently spotted a UFO exhibiting maneuvers no earthly craft could replicate. Now, if the video was on and people saw how the object reacted after entering the atmosphere, maybe there'd be no debate about its nature. However, since we were deprived of visuals before ascertaining the nature of the object, it is no surprise that NASA is being blasted from all sides. NASA did not sit with folded arms. It has since responded to the footage, saying that the object captured by the ISS wasn't a UFO, but could have been a piece of space junk. As to the light seen in the video, they explained that it could be anything: a reflection on the lens of the camera, radiation hitting a sensor in the high-definition Earth viewing system, a satellite, a meteor, or one of the tens of thousands of bits of space debris currently circling the planet. In their explanation, a NASA spokesman insisted strongly that an alien spacecraft had never been spotted near the Earth or far from it. As such, there was no way that the object spotted was an alien or any form of extraterrestrial life. According to NASA, there is no need to panic, and they have urged the public to be calm because there is a well-balanced explanation for why the feed was interrupted. According to NASA spokesperson Daniel Hewitt, the video is from their high-definition Earth viewing experiment aboard the ISS, which is mounted externally on the ISS. The experiment includes several commercial HD video cameras aimed at the Earth, enclosed in a pressurized, temperature-controlled housing. The experiment is on automatic controls to cycle through the various cameras. The station regularly passes out of range of the tracking and data relay satellites used to send and receive video, voice, and telemetry from the station. For video, whenever we lose signal, the video comes down on our higher bandwidth. The cameras will show a blue screen indicating no signal or a preset video slate. From the explanation given by NASA, it can be safely concluded that the interruption of the live feed was the loss of signal, which caused the cameras to show a blue screen. However, space enthusiasts, conspiracy theorists, and ethologists have none of it. They insist that the thing that the ISS captured was an unidentified flying object, or UFO. The UFO wasn't just there, it was observing the Earth. This leads us to question the existence of UFOs. Are UFOs real, unidentified flying objects? Are UFOs real? Otherwise known as UFOs, these enigmatic aerial phenomena have sparked fervent debates among scientists of varying expertise and backgrounds. enduring as a topic of discussion for as far back as records allow. Some skeptics and science critics have dismissed UFO sightings as mere hoaxes. Still, a growing number of scientists in recent years have suggested evidence that suggests the fact that UFO sightings may just be real, particularly in cases involving CERN's Large Hadron Collider, which is the world's largest and fastest particle accelerator located in Geneva, Switzerland. While some non-enthusiasts may attribute these UFO sightings to hallucinations and optical illusions, others have made significant arguments that there are genuine encounters that cannot be easily disregarded as mere illusions. Thus, as our understanding of advanced technology and the universe expands, we must explore these phenomena objectively. There are numerous reports and first-hand personal testimonies about UFO sightings near the Large Hadron Collider, and these have caused the birth of more questions regarding the nature and source of these unidentified objects. In addition to the work of the LHC in expanding our knowledge about the universe, it has also sparked interest among UFO enthusiasts and other science enthusiasts who speculate that some experiments at the LHC may have attracted some strange extraterrestrial beings over the years. There are also pictorial pieces of evidence and testimonies about UFO sightings near the LHC. Science and space skeptics have not given up their attempts to discredit any findings regarding flying objects, so they often assert that UFOs can easily be dismissed as misidentified aircraft. But let's take a break here. It is important to note that the gigantic machine called the Large Hadron Collider is located in a relatively secluded area, greatly reducing the chance of mistaking these unidentified aerial phenomena for ordinary aircraft. A physicist at CERN, Dr. Castillo, once witnessed a strange aerial phenomenon above the LHC. He described seeing a UFO emitting a pulsating light as it hovered above the accelerator. If you found the sight of a UFO emitting a pulsating light above the accelerator surprising, get ready for an even more astonishing revelation. Brace yourself, as NASA unveils the discovery of a super-Earth, reshaping our understanding of the cosmos. According to him, the object moved in naturally impossible ways for an aircraft to imitate. His account and many others suggest something intriguing may happen in the skies above the Large Hadron Collider. Our theorists who believe that NASA's ISS spotted a UFO should probably not be entirely dismissed, because the world of science is beginning to adopt a more open-minded way of approaching the subject of UFOs and has displayed interest in unraveling the mysteries surrounding them, recognizing their potential as a legitimate scientific pursuit. NASA discovers a super-Earth. Earth astronomers and astronauts are beginning to topple our understanding of planets and exoplanets. Exoplanets are planets beyond our solar system. The newest spaceborne instruments, including those on board NASA's James Webb Space Telescope, are designed not just to detect these distant worlds, but to reveal some of their characteristics to expand our understanding of them further. The factors include the composition of their atmospheres, which could offer clues to the possible presence of life. What NASA just discovered differs from what is expected. It's a new world. The recently discovered super-Earth might be making its appearance at just the right time. Like our major star is the Sun, the super-Earth's parent star is a red dwarf, smaller and cooler than our Sun. Several such stars are known to host small, rocky worlds. At the moment, they're our best bet for finding habitable planets. These planets make far closer orbits than those around stars like our Sun. But because red dwarfs are smaller and cooler, the planets can crowd closer and still be safely within the star's habitable zone. The tighter orbits also mean those that cross the faces of their stars, which, when viewed by our space telescopes, cross far more often. If the discovery of a super-Earth left you astounded, hold on to your seat, because what comes next will defy all expectations. Brace yourself for the planet that shouldn't be there, a revelation that challenges everything we thought we knew about the universe. This new world, tagged TOI 175b, has joined the list of habitable zone planets that could be more closely scrutinized by the Webb telescope, perhaps even for signs of an atmosphere. Much will depend on the planet's other properties, including how massive it is and whether it can be classified as a water world, making its atmosphere, if present, more prominent and far less difficult to detect than that of a more massive, denser, and drier world, likely to hold its lower-profile atmosphere closer to the surface. If the possible second Earth-sized planet in the system is also confirmed, it will become the smallest habitable zone planet discovered by TESS. The discovery also exceeded early expectations for TESS by finding an Earth-sized world in the habitable zone. Has there not been a debate for decades on whether life is outside the Earth? Well, NASA has been trying to find the answer to that question, and you won't believe the breakthrough Mars had on Mars life. Life in outer space. NASA found evidence of water. It is no news that NASA sent a space robotic machine called the Curiosity rover to explore the red planet, and the rover has been doing that ever since it first landed. During its exploration, it finally reached the start of the ancient river channel and found some flaky rocks that looked like normal rocks, like those in streams or rivers on Earth. While making remarkable progress, the rover approached the Maria Gordon Notch. On its way there, Curiosity remembered to take a selfie as usual, after which it passed through the area. The rover took what could be described as the best Mars image, an incredible mosaic showing the overhanging ledge, abundant mineral veins, and some strange features. There is this huge vein that it found that seems resilient enough to have resisted erosion, even though the rocks surrounding it have been slowly consumed over the years by water or wind. The fact that stones around this vein have been slowly consumed is yet another evidence that water was a natural occurrence on Mars at a certain point in history. There are some strange nodules that the rover finds at the top of the outcrop, which raises the question, why did these nodules only appear on top of the outcrop? This question poses another question. Could it possibly be that the area was once a flowing river? Maybe that is it. Perhaps the nodules could not withstand the intense water pressure, but this question is still yet to be answered. The view of Greenhoff shows a sloped landscape different from the level layers of the outcrops in the distance. And this again poses the question, couldn't it be that Greenhoff, the planet that shouldn't be there? The recently discovered super-Earth, TOI 715b, might appear at the right time. Its parent star is a red dwarf, smaller and cooler than our Sun. Several such stars are known to host small, rocky worlds. At the moment, they're the best bet for finding habitable planets. These planets make far closer orbits than those around stars like our Sun. But because red dwarfs are smaller and cooler, the planets can crowd closer and still be safely within the star's habitable zone. The tighter orbits also mean those that cross the faces of their stars, that is, when viewed by our space telescopes, cross far more often. In the case of Planet B, that's once every 19 days, a year in this strange world. So these star-crossing, transiting planets can be more easily detected and frequently observed. That's the case for TESS, the Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, which found the new planet and has been adding to astronomers' stockpile of habitable zone exoplanets since its launch in 2018. Observing such transits for, say, an Earth-sized planet around a Sun-like star, and waiting for an Earth year, 365 days, to catch another transit, is beyond the capability of existing space telescopes. If the planet that shouldn't be there caught you off guard, prepare for an even more astonishing twist. Brace yourself as NASA uncovers a long-lost satellite, a revelation that will leave you questioning the depths of space and time. Planet TOI 175b joins the list of habitable zone planets that could be more closely scrutinized by the Webb telescope, perhaps even for signs of an atmosphere. Much will depend on the planet's other properties, including how massive it is and whether it can be classed as a water world, making its atmosphere, if present, more prominent and far less difficult to detect than that of a more massive, denser, and drier world, likely to hold its lower-profile atmosphere closer to the surface. Fun facts: if the possible second, Earth-sized planet in the system is also confirmed, it will become the smallest habitable zone planet discovered by TESS. The discovery also exceeded early expectations for TESS by finding an Earth-sized world in the habitable zone. NASA finds long-lost satellite. An amateur astronomer briefly performed a very impressive feat after joining the NASA team. He discovered NASA's imager for Magneto-Pause to Aurora Global Exploration, which was thought to have been lost due to system failure for over 12 years but is still broadcasting. The find, reported in a blog post, suggests that NASA could revive the mission, which once provided unparalleled views of Earth's magnetosphere. Scott Tilley, the astronomer, spends his free time following the radio signals from spy satellites. On this fateful occasion, he searched in high Earth orbit for evidence of a classified U.S. satellite called Zuma, which was believed to have failed after launch. Instead of Zuma, Tilley picked up a signal from a satellite many years ago, labeled 2000 EOZ 12017A. He knew this label corresponded to NASA's image satellite launched in 2000 and then forgotten in December 2005. When the $150 million mission began broadcasting again, it seemed promising, but someone needed to listen to its message. After Tilly revealed the discovery, the news spread rapidly, reaching former image science team members. Additionally, there appears to be data beyond telemetry in the signal, perhaps indicating some of the satellite's suite of 6 instruments are working. When Tilly announced it, project scientists spent several days digging up old software and records. Afterward, NASA would attempt to contact Image with its deep space radio antennas. However, NASA was one of many interested parties in the satellite. The Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory in Laurel, Maryland, and researchers at the University of California, Berkeley, also expressed interest. However, something lost for years will have some challenges after being found. The team needed clarification on why the spacecraft's rotation rate had slowed, which may have made communication more challenging. The team patiently waited for some real information exchange between Image and the ground. Before its failure, the Image satellite had already been considered a successful mission. The Helioan satellite's instrument was a telescope, providing a global view of charged particles captured in Earth's magnetic field. However, Image's signal blanked out during its extended mission just before Christmas in 2005. The mission had been working perfectly until that point. NASA subsequently attributed the system failure, particularly to a misfire of the controller providing power to the satellite's transponder. It remained possible, however, that Image could reset itself during points in its orbit when Earth eclipsed its solar panels for an extended time, draining its batteries. Such eclipses occurred last year and 5 years ago, perhaps triggering their rebirth. If Image is revived, its orbit will be well positioned to monitor Earth's northern auroral zone. The team found it thrilling to think the spacecraft could be back, and it reminded them of the mission's motto: the real voyage of discovery is not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. NASA continues to make discoveries and share them with Earth via the International Space Station. What exactly is the International Space Station, and what does it do? The International Space Station. The International Space Station is a large space station assembled and maintained in low Earth orbit by collaborating with 5 space agencies: NASA, Roscosmos, JAXA, ESA, and CSA. These agencies are from 5 countries: the United States, Russia, Japan, Europe, and Canada. The ISS is the largest space station ever built, primarily performing microgravity and space environment experiments. Originally, the ISS was intended to be a laboratory, observatory, and factory, while at the same time providing transportation, maintenance, and a low Earth orbit staging base for possible future missions to the Moon, Mars, and asteroids. However, not all of the uses envisioned in the initial memorandum of understanding between NASA and Roscosmos have been realized. The ISS was given additional commercial, diplomatic, and educational roles in the 2010 United States National Space Policy. The ISS provides a platform for conducting scientific research, with power, data, cooling, and crew available to support experiments. Small, uncrewed spacecraft can also provide platforms for experiments, especially those involving zero gravity and exposure to space. But space stations offer a long-term environment where studies can be performed, potentially for decades. Combined with ready access by human researchers, the ISS simplifies individual experiments by allowing groups to share the same launches and crew time. Research is conducted in various fields, including astrobiology, astronomy, physical sciences, material science, space weather, meteorology, and human research, including space medicine and the life sciences. Scientists on Earth have timely access to the data and can suggest experimental modifications to the crew if follow-on experiments are necessary. The routinely scheduled launches of resupply craft allow new hardware to be launched relatively easily. Crews fly expeditions for several months, providing approximately 160 person-hours per week of labor with a crew of 6. However, station maintenance takes up a considerable amount of crew time. Perhaps the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer is the most notable ISS experiment, intended to detect dark matter and answer other fundamental questions about our universe. NASA believes the AMS is as important as the Hubble Space Telescope currently docked at the station. It could not have been easily accommodated on a free-flying satellite platform because of its power and bandwidth needs. If you thought the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer was the pinnacle of ISS experiments, get ready for a revelation. that will shift your perspective entirely. Brace yourself, as radar technology leads scientists to uncover potentially threatening asteroids, reshaping our understanding of cosmic dangers. On April 3, 2013, scientists reported that the ISS may have detected hints of dark matter. According to the scientists, the first results from the spaceborne alpha magnetic spectrometer confirm an unexplained excess of high-energy positrons in Earth-bound cosmic rays. The environment in outer space is hostile to life. Unprotected presence in space is characterized by an intense radiation field that consists primarily of protons and other subatomically charged particles from the solar wind, cosmic rays, high vacuum, extreme temperatures, and microgravity. Only a few simple forms of life called extremophiles and small invertebrates called tardigrades can survive in this environment in an extremely dry state through desiccation. This massive organization behind the ISS is still a mystery to many, even though the name is far from new. But people will still ask, so what is NASA? This is especially true for those who are not overly fond of science. Challenges facing NASA. There is a program called Artemis, which involves plans to send the first woman and person of color to the moon. NASA believes this should be done by late 2024 or early 2025 during the Artemis 3 mission. This target is a major element of the OIG report, highlighting the already known fact about the expense of operating Artemis's space launch system and the Orion crew capsule. The cost of each launch from Artemis 1 to Artemis 4 is ridiculously high, estimated at $4.2 billion, and this figure does not include the $42 billion spent to bring these systems to the launch pad. Given these gigantic costs and the ambitious schedule of Artemis, the OIG warns that the program's sustainability poses a significant challenge to NASA's future crewed exploration goals. Determined to proceed with the project, NASA has taken some steps in this area. Their progress thus far includes collecting data from the SLS rocket's successful blastoff and the Orion capsule flight during the Artemis 1 mission, launched on November 14, 2022. That's not all. The OIG also brings to notice the effort that NASA exerted to reduce the costs of lunar flights after Artemis 4, with the development of key systems like spacesuits that will be used during humanity's first return to the moon in 50 years, and the improvement of NASA's management of the Artemis missions as other examples of progress over the last year. Another challenge surrounding NASA's operations is related to technical issues. The OIG points out that NASA must tackle issues like the unexpected erosion of Orion's heat shield during the Artemis 1 flight and the unpredicted damage to the SLS and ground infrastructure during launch. Additionally, as Congress pushes for increased SLS and Orion launches, NASA must identify and implement effective ways to reduce costs to enable fiscal sustainability for its flagship human exploration effort. We come back to the International Space Station. For over 2 decades, astronauts have maintained a presence in low Earth orbit because of the ISS. So a huge problem arises because there have been reports about the retirement of the space station at the start of the next decade, that is, the 2030 ES. And this represents a huge change for NASA and other space agencies. For years, the ISS has been the site of revolutionary science conducted in microgravity that has played a very significant role in improving our understanding of human health in space, which will have ramifications for future space exploration. This has warranted NASA spending around a third of its budget on the space station, reportedly due for decommissioning in 2030 and deorbiting in 2031. NASA plans to turn to commercial space stations to maintain the presence of humans at the usual altitudes between 100–600 miles over Earth after this ISS retirement. However, the main challenge of this idea is that the gap between the ISS retirement and the advent of commercial space stations needs to be bridged. In addressing that, NASA plans to have one low Earth orbit site available for 2028, creating a 2-year overlap with the ISS. Maintaining this presence will cost a lot, and the United States NASA might find itself deep in debt. Thus, they need to be cost-effective. To a large extent, this will involve aligning the objectives with SpaceX's announcement and those of other agencies. In July 2022, NASA finally made it clear that it was determined to enter into a deal with Roscosmos, the Russian space agency, which will make it possible for cosmonauts from Russia to fly on U.S. spacecraft while U.S. astronauts will plate on Russia's Soyuz spacecraft. This may add a slight edge or might make things smoother. Radar to scientists find potentially threatening asteroids. The Green Bank telescope can work with NASA's Goldstone solar system radar for extraterrestrial threat resilience. Ground-based may have a distinct function among planetary defense systems, enabling the human race to accurately predict asteroids and comets on potentially hazardous orbits towards us. In doing so, the national academies, acting on behalf of a 2023 to 2032 Planetary Science and Astrobiology Decadal Survey, have arrived at this conclusion. Currently, only one radar system on Earth concentrates on detecting threatening space rocks. One of the two Deep Space Network communication stations is NASA's Goldstone Solar System radar. To the AAAS, the annual symposium of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, the blasting results of asteroid radar that could positively impact asteroid detection were shown, which is, therefore, potentially part of the planetary shield. Prospective activities include the Next Generation Radar System, NGRADAR, subgroup of the National Radio Astronomy Observatory, NRAO, which involves applying the Green Bank Telescope, GBT, National Science Foundation-funded facility, and other facilities to enhance the capability of humanity to detect asteroids and comets that are approaching the Earth orbit using radar. Scientists have identified over 1.1 million asteroids within the solar system, of which over 30,000 belong to the so-called near-Earth objects, NEOs, which are considered threatening to humankind. According to NASA's CNEOS, the Centers for Near-Earth Object Studies, the percentage of NEOs, sized around 1 kilometer and even larger, that have already been discovered accounts for about 90%. Additionally, CNEOS has determined no NEO orbits presently threaten Earth, at least within the next century. But that doesn't mean that within the remaining 10% of undiscovered NEOs, there isn't an object that could threaten our planet. Radar, a word from the acronym Radio Detection and Ranging, uses radio waves to determine the distance and velocity of targets. Radar systems are composed of sender antennas, which beam out radio waves, and receiver antennas, which pick them up as reflected. Radio waves bounced back by space rocks could help uncover asteroids or comets, as well as help to study the nearby solar system in unprecedented detail. There are many applications for the future of radar, from substantially advancing our knowledge of the solar system to informing future robotic and crewed spaceflight and characterizing hazardous objects that stray too close to Earth, said Tony Beasley, NRAO's director. Earth's geological history is littered with examples of asteroids' destructive impact on our planet and its species. So, to ensure that humanity doesn't go the same way as the dinosaurs, space agencies are developing strategies to divert asteroids and comets into orbits that could impact Earth someday. What do you think about NASA's explanations and discoveries? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to see more videos.